Hello, it's the amazing and handsome D to the B here with another video today. And absolutely no one else, especially hippies. We don't allow hippies on this channel.
Hello everyone, Elton Z here.
Yeah, I'm just messing with him. So there's an interesting topic I thought I would talk about. And who knows, maybe it's just me being paranoid. But I think it's something worth talking about. So if you don't remember, a while back, last year, I did a video called Why I Don't Care About Spider-Man 4. And one of the points I brought up was about the rumors of Sydney Sweeney being Black Cat and all that stuff. But that isn't really the main topic of the video. I just want to talk about Sydney Sweeney herself, because a lot has been going on lately if you pay attention to the internet. So I'm kind of scared that Sydney Sweeney might serve a similar situation that Gina Carano had suffered 4 years ago, honestly. It might be even 5. And for those who don't remember, or those who don't pay attention to Star Wars for some reason, what happened to Gina was she got fired because of different beliefs. Now, of course, I don't see Sydney Sweeney being fired for different political beliefs, unlike Gina. All I know, she could be on the same side as the HollyWood establishment. But I do see a little bit of similarities to Gina and Sydney Sweeney. For example, both have lately been criticized by HollyWood. In Sydney Sweeney's case, she claims that only people like Sydney Sweeney is because, of course, that area that men like staring at, if you know what I mean. And funny enough, and it's good that she got on the joke instead of being offended. She's yeah, so, or I can't remember entirely what she said when that actress or director, I forget what it was, criticized her for that and said she was a bad actress. Now, I don't think she's terrible as an actress. She's fine. I'd say there's probably better actresses in Hollywood, but from what I've seen, she's pretty good. She's definitely not the worst Hollywood actress. Brie Larson! Anyway, there's another point that I want to bring up, and that is the situation when somebody called her ugly on Instagram. Here's the clip here. Insert.
Would never actually do this, ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people. And I know everyone says, you can't read things and you shouldn't read things. But, I'm a fucking person. I'm just sitting here with my dog Tank watching HGTV, wearing my Snuggie. I don't know. People need to be nicer on social media, because it's really fucked up.
Now, it's strange, because just as all these people, like Sydney Sweeney for trying to be Madam Web, and then also the speculation of her being Black Cat in Spider-Man 4, is when people really started to attack her for this. It's mostly because the people that criticize a lot of the modern media were liking her. As they say, the toxic males, quote unquote, are supporting her. That's when I think they started man, we need to destroy this person immediately, because who needs attractive women when we have women that literally look like they're the grandchild of Emperor Palpatine? Yeah, we need to support those women, not the women who absolutely look attractive. Dragons and Palpatine looking women. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, thank you. I'll take the attractive women.
And also, these people have a strange obsession with targeting women who are beautiful. Or even people, or should I say males, that like attractive women. Like, they hate it so much, and it just proves how delusional these people are. Like, just anything beautiful needs to be destroyed. Things that are absolutely ugly need to be praised. Like, okay, so don't get me wrong. Personally, I don't believe in the hot category. I personally think a woman can be both beautiful on the outside and the inside, so that doesn't really bug me as much. But when you're specifically attacking beautiful women just because there are women that aren't as attractive as the women that usually are casted for like movies and all that other stuff, that's just bad. We need to give appreciation to the ugly women. Again, I believe in inner beauty, but at the same time, I think you attacking women that you think are more beautiful than you is not a real good sign. It kind of reveals like who you truly are as a person when you do stuff like that. I would just even say that with cancel culture as well. They could just like simply disagree with something person they don't like. They could just leave it alone and live their life, but no, they're like, oh, we need to absolutely destroy this person for just having a different view. It's just obnoxious that people are like this nowadays, but they just continue to get worse and worse every day.
I think Sydney Sweeney is attractive. And there's a lot of pretty actresses out there.
Yeah.
And I think Sydney Sweeney is attractive. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys don't need to attack Sydney Sweeney or any actress that's, beautiful. And to me, I think this is wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong. And here's another point that I think could hurt Sydney Sweeney and maybe end up getting her kicked from HollyWood. So I think I remember hearing about this. Apparently Sydney Sweeney also bashed HollyWood for their standard. Do you know we appreciate every single woman in our industry, but she kind of destroyed them and exposed them that they only like certain type of women. And this was something that was published back in November 14th of 2024.
It's all fake. Sydney Sweeney says there are no women empowering each other in Hollywood. All people say is women empowering other women. None of it's happening, Sweeney said. By Katie Jerkovich, November 14th, 2024 DailyWire.com. Facebook, Xmail, 425. Comments. Jeff Kravitz film Magic 4 HBO via Getty Images. Young star Sydney Sweeney hit back at the claim that women are empowering each other in Hollywood and said it's all fake. Speaking to Vanity Fair, the 27-year-old actress was asked about recent comments by Jennifer Lawrence and Anne Hathaway, who said female performers have a tendency to knock down women at their professional peak. It came after a film producer, earlier this year, attacked Sweeney's talent and looks. It's very disheartening to see women tear other women down, especially when women who are successful in other avenues of their industry see younger talent working really hard, hoping to achieve whatever dreams that they may have, and then trying to bash and discredit any work that they've done, Sweeney said. This entire industry, all people say is women empowering other women. None of it's happening. All of it is fake, and a front for all the other shit that they say behind everyone's back. I mean, there's so many studies and different opinions on the reasoning behind it, she added. I've read that our entire lives, we were raised, and it's a generational problem, to believe only one woman can be at the top. There's one woman who can get the man. There's one woman who can be, I don't know, anything. Advertisement. So then all the others feel like they have to fight each other, or take that one woman down instead of being like, let's all lift each other up. I'm still trying to figure it out, Sweeney continued. I'm just trying my best over here. Why am I getting attacked? The Euphoria star recently called out the paparazzi, and admitted she feels unsafe at her home, due to them and overzealous fan appearances there, Glamour reported. Photographers said, if you tell her to just come outside in a bikini, I'll take pictures, and then I'll leave you alone, Sweeney said, adding that some critics started saying she had called the press herself to gain attention. Why would I call the paparazzi to take pictures of me at my own house when my baby cousins and family are there, and I'm in my backyard? Why would I ever want that? She added. I have pictures of these guys in kayaks hiding in bushes in the ocean. They got there at 8 a.m. and wouldn't leave until 4 p.m. I should be able to be in my home and feel comfortable and safe. When those photos go out, then my actual safety is at risk, Sweeney continued. Everyone knows where I am. Now there's boats that go by, and I literally hear them say, this is Sydney Sweeney's house. It becomes a star tour in my front yard.
And that's the article itself about Sydney Sweeney exposing HollyWood. Now, there's a lot to say, but I think Elvis C. has a comment that he wants to bring up first.
This makes me very sick.
Well, yeah, of course. And, of course, unless if you're brain dead, everyone knows this. HollyWood is this messed up industry that is promoted as like the land of dreams, but in reality, it's literally a terrible place. Probably as bad as like a prison. Like, it is absolutely terrible. We know a bunch of Hollywood drama that goes on every single year. And just hearing Sydney Sweeney expose HollyWood for what they truly are says something.
I'm on Team Sydney Sweeney.
I mean, yeah, I am too. That's mostly because I hate HollyWood. Like, I like their movies, well, not recently, but as people themselves, they're just messed up people in their own sanity way. Like, the stuff that happened with the Nickelodeon casting, we can't forget about that, with Dan Schneider, who did terrible things to all the people involved with the early 2000s Nickelodeon shows, like Drake Bell, for example. He was a great example. Whoever played Sam in iCarly, I forget her name. Like, that was just terrible. She even exposed him for that. And then also the fact that he took advantage and cut the kid actors' pay. And they could have gotten more money, but he tricked them. And also there were reports about some of the outfits that they wore in some of those Nickelodeon shows. A bunch of the actors and actresses, they didn't like wearing those outfits. But Dan Schneider said they would replace them if they ever disobeyed him. And there's also a bunch of stuff that actors are over their heads. Like, one example is Mark Hamill. How Mark Hamill recently has made his autograph prices like crazy expensive. Like, look at this for an autograph from Mark Hamill. Heck no. I ain't getting no stinking autograph from Mark Hamill, especially if it's that expensive. And just HollyWood as people, they're bad. And going back to Mark Hamill, he has specifically made him so vocal that he does not like the fans who personally voted for a different candidate than the one he won. And obviously that candidate that he doesn't like, I'm going to bring him up. It might piss some people off. I don't care. Is Donald Trump. Like, I don't care whatever your political beliefs are, but you have to understand once you're discriminating someone for voting for a particular candidate that they like. Now, as I've said before, I have my thoughts on Trump. I have my thoughts on Biden. I have thoughts on most of the politicians in our country. Personally, I would rather not go into it because I like to think of my channel as sort of an even ground where it doesn't really get into politics. And I just want to talk about my favorite movies, my favorite shows, maybe even stuff that I personally worked on that I want to share with my community. But unfortunately, we have gotten so far down with our politicians and our Hollywood executives where it's hard not to talk about politics. Like, I don't get into the political world like this party and that party. When it comes to politics, I limit myself to the Hollywood politics because their politics are like absolutely insane. And especially since their job isn't to be public service members to Hollywood, they're supposed to act in our movies and our TV shows. But they decide to become as preachy as politicians. And I don't care what their thoughts are. I don't want to hear their political views. Like, they're the most rich people in Hollywood. And that's what drives me nuts about certain people. They always complain that we need to destroy the big man and make everything equal and fair. But then they attack the people that aren't really that big. But then they stick with people like in Hollywood and politicians. It drives me nuts. Like, if you want to go up against the big man, don't go after your opponents. Go after the Hollywood executives. Go after the politicians. Go after them, not us. Like, it drives me absolutely insane. And especially since Hollywood actors and politicians, they don't know what it's like to be on the lower class. Maybe some of them had been in the lower class at one point, but then they got too much into Hollywood and got too rich, where they completely forgot what it was like to be a normal person. So that's why I can't stand the absolute heck out of Hollywood and all of these people who go after actually good people instead of the people that they claim that they're going up against. Like, ugh.
I'm really starting to really hate Hollywood now.
Yeah. I have been hating them for a while. There's so much more I could get into Hollywood, but I want to go back to the topic.
I just want movies to be good.
Movies,
I don't want politics in the movies. Movies are supposed to be like your getaway from reality.
Mm-hmm.
And with all these politics coming into movies, I can see why people don't want to watch the movies anymore.
Yeah, and especially since... there's another thing I'm going to bring up before we go back to Sydney Sweeney, is these people also attack Hollywood executives that don't align with their narrative either. Like, we brought up Gina. She's a great example of not agreeing with the woke narrative.
I stand with Gina Carano.
Yeah. As we know, there's also Tim Allen. So for context, for people who don't know, Tim Allen is a conservative. And, like, sure, whatever. Tim Allen's still a great actor. But many people, including Hollywood themselves, try getting rid of him. But the funny thing is, with Tim Allen's case, they can't. And it is absolutely hilarious that every time they try to get rid of him, something good happens with him. It is ironic. It is funny. I wish this happened with every single actor.
I'm actually a fan of Tim Allen,
Yeah, I am too. I love Tim Allen.
and I have a lot of respect for that man.
Yeah, I do too. Like, no matter what he is in or whatever he's kicked out of, he'll find something else. Like, when he wasn't in Lightyear, like, Disney even backtracked and brought him back for the Santa Claus show. Which, honestly, one of the best lines out of that show is, you can't even say Merry Christmas anymore. And the reason why it's the best is because it's accurate. Some reason people have a strange divide about Christmas and holidays. I even literally brought this up in one of my community posts. I said, Merry Christmas to all, unless if you are offended with the term Merry Christmas. Like, oh boy. And then another example of Hollywood actors that was attacked because of their support for a different candidate, of course, also being Trump. The actor of Winnie the Pooh, out of all people, made a couple of political comments responding to certain situations that are going on in America without bringing him up. And then people got so mad with his posts that they tried to cancel him. Like, Hollywood and all these cancel culture people just don't know reality. I don't even think they could tell their hand from their elbow at this point. That's how crazy they are.
There was a video that you did a while back. It was about Gina, and I guess the lady lost her job for following Gina.
Oh yeah, that's right. They also want to cancel people who support actors and all these actors who go against the narrative. I completely forgot about that story. Like, these people, they drive me nuts.
You shouldn't have to lose your job over following Gina Carano or, for another example, Tim Allen or Sydney Sweeney. I mean, that's wrong. I mean, really, you're going to lose your job over following your favorite actors or actresses.
Or even follow your favorite politicians. Like, again, I don't care about politics. I want it to be as an open space as much as possible, with also exposing these stories and narratives that Hollywood pushes because they are absolute nonsense. But I try to have a good time with my audience. I don't care who they voted for. I don't care what their beliefs are. I just want an open space and to respect my beliefs. Even if you don't agree with them, just respect me as a person. Like, I think that's a fair thing to ask. I respect you, you respect me. That's how society should work. But it doesn't.
This sad.
But I think that's enough with our Hollywood rant. And to be honest, guys, this probably won't be the last time I talk about Hollywood. I think I'm going to be talking about them for a while. But going back to Sydney Sweeney, just with all the stuff, especially this article where she exposes Hollywood, this could be a problem for her. Because Hollywood does not like being exposed or even compete with their opponents either. Like, let's say if there's an independent company who tries to do a similar story, they will, or any story that combats them. One example is the Mufasa and Sonic 3 situation. And that situation was, again, absolutely insane because Disney was promoting Mufasa as Sega and Universal were promoting Sonic 3. Both of them were releasing at the same time. But Sonic 3 had beat Disney at their own game. And then, to add insult to injury, even with its low scores on Mufasa, Mufasa tried its hardest to beat Sonic 3. They even tried covering up evidence that Sonic 3 had absolutely annihilated them. They kept saying, like, Mufasa is the number one viewed movie this year. And then people also called them out for it, saying that Sonic 3 was the one that they did the most, that did well this year. But then they deleted tweets that exposed them for that because Disney wants to form a narrative.
Disney used to be about using your imagination, creating stories. I hate to say this, Disney has lost its magic a long time ago.
It did. But just with how HollyWood stabs themselves in the back so much, and especially competitors, like, I get it. You're going to have brands that are going to fight over each other. For a while, it was Marvel and DC. For a while, for cartoon shows, it was Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney Channel. There might be even some other ones that I'm forgetting. Like, competing businesses is nothing new. But at the same time, when you don't admit defeat and try to spin your own narrative and censor people that try to expose you for changing the narrative, you have completely lost the script. Like, even Disney even bought out more theaters for Mufasa to play so they could have a higher chance of beating Sonic 3, and they still lost.
Sonic 3 1, Mufasa 0.
Yeah, like, Mufasa had more theaters playing their garbage movie in, where Sonic 3 only had a few, because Disney doesn't want to deal with competition, and again, still lost. But the reason I'm bringing it up, again, is because HollyWood really doesn't like people exposing them or combating them. So this could be a possibility that they might view Sydney Sweeney as a threat. And Gina was also viewed as a threat when she was going against Disney's narratives. And that was one of the reasons they ended up booting her from The Mandalorian, which ended up biting them in the butt because Gina's suing them right now, and they recently just added Cara Dune back into one of their new books. I can't remember what the book's called, but she's in the list of characters in Disney canon. Again, after the many years that they took her out of the Mandalorian, even took out toys in play sets that featured her character in it. So,
not to mention that, but she also was supposed to have her own show after that.
Yeah. That is so true. Like, this could be a possibility, and it could hurt Sydney Sweeney a lot. Maybe she wouldn't be fired, but I think a lot of companies wouldn't hire her for her comments, and also I don't think there would be a lot of actresses who probably wouldn't want to work with her, especially with her comments on how women don't always stick to each other and rip each other apart, which honestly we kind of knew that already. And especially modern times where women are even more insane than they were before. like women nowadays expecting that every man that they date needs to be like a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, have like giant rings to as big as the skyscraper in New York. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I think you get my point. Like, it's nothing new, and it doesn't surprise me it's the same for HollyWood. And I think that's about all I have to say for this video, but I will say this. Sydney Sweeney, if you somehow see this video, I very much doubt it. I just want to give you a heads up. Even though I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that you're in, I will say you have D to the B's support. And I really hope for the best for you and things don't get as bad as I'm worried, because I am absolutely scared that they might remove Sydney Sweeney because of what she stands for, all the comments she made on HollyWood, how the cancel culture people hate absolutely attractive women. It's just all scary, and I've seen this happen before. And I want to say something just before it happens, even if it does. Maybe I could be overreacting, who knows? But I think it needs to be covered. But I think that's it, all I have to say from D to the B. So, tell me what you think. Do you think my predictions and claims are accurate, or do you think I'm going a little overboard with it? Tell me in the comments, and have a nice day, everyone. Bye, guys.